Hello, I am Dr. Jean Gullicks, and I'm wondering why you would choose to go to Life STEM Education Center or a different school than the Grand Forks Public Schools. There are many reasons in my mind, but I want to assure you that it's not just from me. I am a developmental specialist, I am a mental health specialist, I have been a counselor and nurse for 30 years and a nurse practitioner. So I have reasons from many parents and students and from teaching or working with students last year. I also have taught at the med school at University of North Dakota and the College of Nursing as director of the Family Nurse Practitioner program. So I have lots of experience, so you're not just listening to someone who has an opinion for or against the public schools or even some of the private schools in the area. First of all, teachers are very important people in the raising of your children. They have a lot to say, they have a lot to teach, and the majority of them want to help your children. However, in the last 4 years, there's been a significant change in education in North Dakota and in most of the states. Some much worse than ours, some not. I was privileged to be able to attend some school board meetings as an expert, but I was very much disregarded. Eyes were rolled, chairs were pulled away. I was interrupted. I was not treated with respect. And unfortunately, that's what I'm hearing, parents' treatment that they're receiving in the schools as well as their children. So let's talk about what some reasons are for going to a different learning environment. It can be all day or it can be partial days. So we are setting up for the second year Life STEM Education Center, which last year was called Life STEM Academy, so that your students can excel beginning at the level that they're at. Statistically in North Dakota, 83% of students are graduating from high school, but they have only 44% proficiency in literature and arts, and they have only 39% proficiency in math. This is not okay. We are graduating students who are not ready for college and not ready for careers. Now, not everybody needs to go to college. There are some wonderful industrial tech positions. There are wonderful jobs as plumbers, electricians, and kids should pursue those. They pay well. They're very much needed in the society. And so I'm not saying everybody needs to go to college, but what I am saying, every student needs to be in an environment that will accelerate their learning so they can meet their goals in life. Now let's talk about goals for a minute. When the students that I know, either through counseling or through different school programs, even church students, and I ask them what their goals are, this is what I get. I'm going to mow lawns. I'm going to paint cars. I'm going to work with AI. I'm going to do whatever I want to do with video games. Those are pretty limiting goals. We're not hearing traditional roles or professional roles. They don't know about engineering. They don't know about nursing even. They don't know or think about med school. And when asked about those, they're interested, but they don't think they're able to do it. So part of being in a smaller education center with a very small teacher to or faculty to student ratio is we can help them and their parents plan ahead, plan for the future, and look at goals that might be reasonable with their passions and their likes. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with mowing lawns and doing those kinds of things, but it's not usually a goal to aspire to. So I'm glad these kids are doing it during their school years. I'm glad they're thinking about it. But the majority of them, the answer is, I have no idea, I don't know, or I can't do math and I can't do science, so I have no idea if I can do anything. We had students last year that started French, no textbooks, no writing, with a native French speaker, and within days, some of the students could speak dialogue in French. They didn't think they could learn French. They had no idea what it was, and they had so much fun with it. So they are not aware of what possibilities there are. So parents, what can you do to help? We'll talk about cell phones in detail later, but limit the time. Make sure the cell phones are on the counter at a certain bedtime. Make sure you have parent control on it and you know what they're doing and spending their time on. This is taking the place of socializing and of reading. Socializing means reading cues. These kids look and act disrespectful because they don't make eye contact and they don't read facial expressions and body language. So we help them with that. We help them understand who God is and what His part in their life is, and that they're special. We also teach them that they're not more special than the kid sitting next to them. They have different characteristics and different wants and needs. Parents are involved in a smaller education center. They tell us what courses they would like their children to take and why. They tell us what kind of support they would like and why. And this might include especially the sciences and the math, physics, calculus, some of the harder classes. But once you spend time visiting with them, you realize that children are not writing. Their grammar and punctuation, their pronouncing of words is off. So we need to start where they're at. So another advantage is that all the students will get a developmental assessment and a placement assessment, instead of just going from 2nd to 3rd grade, whether you're ready or not. Or what if you're in 2nd grade, but you're really doing things at home at the 4th and 5th grade level, but in the bigger schools, they're not allowed to advance. So I have a student who was in 2nd grade, who finished his math homework by January. This is 2nd grade in a public school in North Dakota. He asked for more math to do and was told he had learned everything he needed to know. That obviously was not okay with him or with his parents, and so they set up a program on their own. I have many students who have not read literature. They like to read some of the new series that are out, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they're not being taught how to digest reading material and how to take instruction from it. For example, they get a new toy, it has instructions, they never look at them. Then they get frustrated and put the toy away, or they build their own thing, which is fine, but not if you want the toy to work the way it's supposed to. So there are a lot of reasons for these things other than put in your time, which is not a good reason. In the small education center, we have dedicated faculty who are expertise in their fields, who have volunteered to teach these kids and help them to accelerate in their learning no matter where they start. We might have a kindergartner who knows all the ABCs and can read basic sentences, and we might have a kindergartner who does not know any ABCs. In a small school, we can give special attention to each of them and bring them ahead. We don't categorize them by grade. We categorize them by ability and motivation and accelerated learning that they're explaining. Kids who are behind still need to be accelerated, because right now in America, kids are not at grade level for the majority of the population. They're well below. So we have to accelerate their learning to catch them up, and then accelerate their learning at the speed they and their parents are interested in, so that they can be advanced. Friendships that come in smaller classrooms across ages are different than friendships that come from sitting next to each other day after day in a bigger classroom. So the combination of kindergartners and seniors and anyone in between going to art together, going to music together, voting for each other's art projects, playing outside, having lunch together, those are social skills that are very, very valuable, because society is not defined by age and by grade once you're out of the classroom walls. We have many parent volunteers. They're encouraged to be involved. They can drop in at any time and see what's going on in the classes. Nothing is hidden from them. They are called when we feel the need, and they call us when they feel the need. They are invited to ask questions. They're invited to take notes in the classes. Some of them have stayed in biology, for example, because they forgot what they knew and they find it interesting. So there's a lot of reasons to look for smaller classrooms, smaller groups. It's been shown in research for decades to be the number one best indicator of success. So our biggest classroom is when everyone is together, and that was 16 students last year. We're hoping for more this year. Our smallest classroom was when they were divided by placement, interest, or whatever, and that was, in some cases, one student. So we are open for enrollment right now. We are anxious to talk to you and answer some of your specific questions. And you can look us up on Facebook at LifeSTEM Education Center, on Instagram and on YouTube, or you can use the email lifestemeducationcenter@gmail.com to contact us, and we can set up an appointment with you. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope that you will recognize that you as parents are the number one providers and source of achievement for your children.